joined on the line by Roy Jones Jr., undoubtedly one of the all-time boxing greats, a world champion in 5 different categories, in light middleweight all the way up to super heavyweight, and was named Fighter of the Decade in 1995 and Fighter of the Year in 2003. Roy, what a fantastic career for you, and may I ask, where did this love of boxing begin first of all for you, and was it always the dream to become a boxer?
No, my love began when I first watched a Muhammad Ali Joe Frazier fight. I realized that Muhammad Ali was bigger than just a boxing match. He was more of a thinker who knew how to fight, and that kind of intrigued me because I always saw myself as sort of a thinker, and I knew right away that if somebody taught me how to fight, I could do exactly what he was doing to some degree, just that I hadn't been taught the skill of fighting. But I knew that I was a big thinker, and if I just got a little bit of fighting skills, I could be pretty impressed with my own self as a fighter.
Yeah, and Roy, you had a glorious amateur career, and even in the Olympics as well, you had a fantastic career as well. And you went into professional boxing, and you went, I believe it was, you went 16-0, 16 straight knockouts in a row, and you won 34 fights in a row before your first professional world title fight against Bernard Hopkins. Was it always the aim to move up the categories, Roy, or were you ever content to say, I'm the best middleweight champion in the world, I'm the best super middleweight, I'm going to stay in that bracket, or was it always a dream to keep progressing up through the grades?
To be honest with you, I never won a light middleweight title. I started fighting as a light middleweight at professional, but I wanted to win a light middleweight title first, then move up and probably go as high as super middle or light heavy, but I never saw going any higher than the light heavyweight division. And actually, when I got to 168, I was content with being the best super middleweight around. Then I ran out of competition, had nobody else to really fight. When you run out of competition, in my book, you have to go find competition somewhere else. So if it's not in your weight class, go find someone above you, because usually there's a guy that's bigger than you that they think may have a chance to beat you because he's bigger. And that's what I did. So anytime I thought that there was an opportunity, I moved to that opportunity and took that risk, took that gamble, and found out. And it led me all the way up to the heavyweight division. So I'm like, nobody beat me at middleweight, nobody beat me at super middleweight. I got a disqualification, but I didn't really have a loss. I got disqualified. Yeah. Nobody beat me at light heavyweight, so I said, well, forget it. Let's go all the way to the top. Let's go for the center. And I did. And that's how I became, by the grace of God, heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah, and Roy, it's a feat that has never been achieved in 106 years, to do what you did, to start off as a middleweight champion and to go all the way up to heavyweight champion. Was that on the back of your head that I'm creating legacy here? I'm going to go down here as one of the. No one else has ever done this. Muhammad Ali hasn't done this. Joe Frazier hasn't done this. No one has ever. Was that on the back of your category, that history will define me by this?
Yes, once I realized that was the opportunity, yes, I did. And what really was defining by was that the only person that had did it was Bob Fitzsimmons, and it had been over 106 years since he did it, but even he started professional boxing as a middleweight. I would become the only person to ever start my professional career as a junior middleweight and become heavyweight champion of the world. So yes, all of those things were heavily on my mind, and I knew that would definitely cement my legacy in boxing, because at that venture, I would have accomplished something that no other fighter ever had accomplished, and something else that nobody had did in over a century.
Yeah, and you had some great fights during the 90s, some fantastic bouts there with Bernard Hopkins and James Toney, and some real classic encounters there. And even still, to this day, we still see Bernard Hopkins going strong. We still see fighters that actually. So it just goes to show the longevity of your careers and stuff. And you had some great battles. And what are your memories of some of those top draw fights?
Just that these guys were true professional fighters. They were guys who took care of themselves, who knew how to go out and calculate or to go out and execute beautiful boxing moves and boxing maneuvers in a real prize fight. They weren't guys who just go out and look for one punch, or they wouldn't survive so long. They were guys that went out and actually took up and loved and studied the trade and the background and the history of boxing. They knew true boxing skills and boxing techniques. They were guys that were credible, and that's what allowed them to be able to last even up into today's time, because they were so good at their technique.
Yeah, and Roy, Jones, you're known for your fantastic hand speed and your movement and reflexes. And one of the all-times I remember growing up as a boy when I was 13, watching your knockout over and over again of the Australian fighter Glenn Kelly. And I'm just wondering there to myself, I was thinking about this going back in the car today. What was going through your mind at that sort of moment? Was it on the cards? You think, I'm going to try it? Or was it just pure instinct? Do you know, when you put your hands behind your back?
It was on the call. I said, you know what? I think because this guy's not punching anymore, I have to do something to make him feel safe enough to punch at me.
Yeah, and that.
So at that time when I thought about it, I said, okay, so what can I do? I said, well, if I put my hand behind my back, he'll probably punch at me. So I said, okay, let me try it. So I put my hand behind my back, and bing, he punched at me. I said, got him. And that's exactly what happened. But had I not put my hand behind my back, he was so afraid of my counter punches that he would have never punched at me had I not done that.
Yeah, and Roy, then we go on then to the 2000s, and you'll use some memorable classics with the likes of Felix Trinidad and Tony Tarver, and some great rivalries there. And then you came back again and you won another belt again in 2011 when you beat Max Alexander and you beat Tarver for a belt. So to win belts in 2 consecutive decades, to win it in the early 90s and then to win it again in the 2000s and then to win it again in the late 2011-12, that's title belts in 3 decades. That must be something you must be very proud of.
I'm very proud of it. I mean, you know, it's like that. Like I said, once again, it goes to the character and the skill level that we had to be at to be able to compete and even win belts in 3 decades. You know what I mean? It's very difficult to do such a feat. Back in the early days, you never heard of fighters going quite that long and winning titles for such a long period of time. So for me, it is a quite a feat, and I thank God for every moment of it. And I thank God that I was able to be an instrument that he used to play his music through.
Yeah, and Roy, over here in Ireland now, there was great hype and anticipation. There was a proposed fight there going back a few years ago with Steve Collins. Was that ever really on the cards, or was that potential to happen, or it just didn't happen? Would you have liked that fight?
No, it just didn't happen.
Yeah,
it just didn't happen. I would have loved that fight. It just didn't happen. But of course I would have loved that fight because Steve Collins was a true competitor, a real champion, a guy that, you know, you would love to share the ring with. He's a hard guy to deal with, as everybody that knows that some of his prime knew. So it was definitely a great opportunity, a great moment for 2 true legends to share the ring. And as you know me, I always love moments like that. So yes, it was definitely something that was definitely on tap, just that we never got the correct funding to be able to properly do it the way we should have, and to go out at the end of it like true champions. Because when we come out, we're gonna give it our all. We're gonna leave everything on the line. And had we got the right money to be able to go out like champs, we would have did it. But we never got that opportunity because the right money didn't really come across the table. So.
Yeah. And finally, Roy, I have 2 final questions there for you. I'll give you the first one here. In this decade, I sense, Roy, that you have a person now that loves his craft, that loves what he do, and even till this day, you're still enjoying the sport of boxing. You're still enjoying being out there, and it's for the thrill and the enjoyment that you're still boxing on to this day. That's why I sense that why your boxing career is going on, because you still have that enjoyment. You enjoy it as much now as what you enjoyed it in the 90s, I suspect. And second of all, Roy, basically, what would you give to any advice to any aspiring young boxer there in Ireland who maybe has gone on to fight in the Olympics or wants to pursue a dream to become a champion as such? What would you say to them is the 2 most important aspects that makes a world champion?
Well, the first thing is you got to have dedication, and you got to have faith. You got faith in God, and you got to have dedication. And in that faith in God and dedication, that means that once you decide that this is what you want to do, you got to put God in front, which is in anything you do. But you got to also dedicate yourself to the sport of boxing. The reason it's so hard and why I still do it and why I enjoy it is because I truly love the sport of boxing. Nobody's an amazing boxer. I mean, it's not even about the money, because most fights you're not gonna get the money you want anyway. So that doesn't matter. But the fact that I love the sport, I love what I do, and I realize how gifted and how blessed I was in the sport, because I learned so much that just like even nowadays, I train guys, I teach these guys things that they've never seen before, things that they've never heard of before. So it's like, how could you feel like you're threatening that boxer when most of these guys that are out there now, you know more than they ever thought? I forgot more than they'll ever care if you leave it because you have so much to offer them still that it's like, why not?
Yeah.
So it's like, I love it, and anybody that gets involved in it, you should love it. And don't do it for money, don't do it for fame, do it for love. And in doing it for love, you enjoy every day of your life doing it, and you'll do it for all the right reasons, because love is the first thing. Love is the closest thing to God. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. If you love something and you mean you love it, that's the biggest thing you're going to be able to get in this lifetime.
Roy, as a boy growing up in the early 90s, staying up late in Ireland to watch your fights, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and we wish you all the continued success. And from everyone here in Ireland, we just reflect on what a marvellous career it still continues to be. You're still going strong, and we'll hope to God I'll get to see you in a few more fights in the coming year. Right.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Right, goodbye, take care.
Goodbye. All right.